Most people are afraid of dying. But the truth is, what we're really terrified of is not having lived fully, not saying what needed to be said, not choosing joy when we had a chance, not being known in the deepest, truest way. In all my years sitting at the bedside of those who are dying, I've never heard anyone say, I wished I worked harder. I wished I worked more. But I've heard them whisper many times, I wish I had forgiven her. I wish I had been braver with my life. I didn't know it would go all so fast. Dying strips life down to what matters. And if we're willing to listen, we'll hear lessons that can change the way we live today. Welcome to the Life Doula podcast, where we talk about the things most people avoid: cancer, grief, dying, death, and the radical act of healing. We hold space for healing, not just surviving. In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on death, not to fear it, but to learn from it. Because sometimes the ones who are living this life are the ones showing us how to truly live it. Why must we talk about dying? Let's be honest, death really makes people uncomfortable. We often change the subject. We say, let's not talk about that now. We avoid writing wills or discussing end-of-life wishes, as if silence could somehow protect us from the inevitable. In many cultures, including our own here in Asia, death is treated like a bad omen. We whisper about it, we don't prepare for it, and we definitely don't talk about what it means to die well. But here's what I've learned sitting beside those in their final days. Death is not the enemy. Avoiding it is. Because when we avoid death, we avoid the deeper questions it brings. We avoid reflecting on how we're living. We avoid telling people we love them, forgiving others, or asking ourselves if we're really spending our time the way we want to. And the irony is, the dying often crave these conversations the most. They don't want false hope. They want honesty, peace, and presence. They want to talk about regrets, meaning, forgiveness, faith, and what happens next. I remember a daughter once told me, I wish someone had told me it was okay to ask my dad how he wanted to die. I never did. And now I'll never know. That moment stayed with me because the real tragedy isn't death itself. It's all the unspoken truths, unshared love, and unfinished goodbyes we carry because we were too afraid to open the conversation. So let's begin to change that. Let's talk about dying not as a dark, scary thing, but as a doorway, a mirror, a teacher. Let's reclaim it as sacred. So let me ask you, what would change in your life today if you stopped being afraid of dying and started being more intentional about living? What the dying teach us, there's really a sacred clarity that often arrives near the end of life. The dying don't waste words. They don't perform. They speak from the soul. As an end-of-life doula, I've had a deep honor of sitting beside people in their final days. I've held their hands, heard whispers, and carried their stories like sacred texts. The dying have been my greatest teachers. And the lessons they leave behind are not just for the end, but for all of us right now. To honor their privacy and dignity, the stories I'm about to share with you, I use pseudonyms, but the wisdom is very real. Here are 5 lessons from the dying that changed me and might change you too. Lesson 1. Say what you need to say now. Mila, a woman in her 50s, told me with tears in her eyes, I kept waiting for the right time to call my sister. I thought we'd fix things after I got better. Now, I don't have the time nor the breath. She died with an ache in her chest. Don't wait. Say it. Say it often. Reach out. Now, lesson 2. People remember presence, not perfection. Enrico, a client, a very proud father who once lived for performance reviews, polished shoes, board meetings, told me, all the meetings I ran, none of them matter now. I just hope my daughter remembers how I tucked her in bed and how much I loved her. It's not what we accomplish, it's how we made people feel. Presence is the real legacy. Lesson 3. You don't take anything with you, but you leave a lot behind. Clarice is someone I know from many lives ago when I was still working. She was a driven woman, a CEO by 40, built 2 homes, a passport filled with stamps, visas of different countries, a bank account that made her feel so secure. She once told me, I spent my whole life climbing ladders, corporate ones, financial ones. But now all I want is time. And I can't even buy that. A few days before she died, she looked at me and said, tell people this. Your resume won't follow you into the grave, but your regrets might. I wish I had spent more time with the people I was working so hard for. In the end, her trophies, certificates were silent. What mattered was her son sitting beside her, reading her childhood letters out loud. What lingered was love, not titles, not the net worth. Legacy isn't built by chasing the world. It's built by how deeply we love the ones right in front of us. Lesson 4. Healing doesn't mean always curing. Marco, a man in his 30s whose cancer was no longer responding to treatment, once told me, everyone keeps praying for a miracle, but what they don't see is the miracle already happened. I've made peace with my dad. I'm not angry anymore. He didn't survive the disease, but he died healed. Lesson 5. Time is not promised. So stop postponing your joy. Anna, a young mother, laughed through her oxygen mask and said, I kept saving the good perfume, my good shoes, the good wine, the good lingerie for some special day. I should have worn them all on Tuesday. Joy isn't for special occasions. It's for now. Start claiming it now. These lessons aren't heavy. They are liberating because they remind us of what truly matters is always within reach. I carry them with me every day, not to fear death, but to honor life. So I leave you with a question. Which of these 5 lessons is tugging at your heart the most? And what would you shift if you lived by it starting today? Living with the end in mind, you must have heard this. Here's something we need to say clearly. End of life reflection isn't just for the sick or for the elderly. It's for us the living. It's for you right now, whatever age, whatever stage you're in. Thinking about death doesn't make life darker. It makes it sharper. It strips away the noise and leaves only the essential. Because when we live with the end in mind, we choose differently. We love more bravely. We say no with more clarity. We say yes with more soul. And we stop waiting for permission. We stop performing for timelines and checklists. I've seen this time and time again. Not just with the dying, but with the living who let death become a teacher instead of a taboo. These people start asking better questions. What am I really here for? Am I spending my time the way I want to be remembered? If I had 1 year left, what would I stop tolerating? Or who will I stop tolerating? What would I start creating? Living with the end in mind doesn't mean we obsess over death. It means we honor life by refusing to sleepwalk through it. And truthfully, this is the work I do every day. Whether it's walking with someone through cancer, walking beside someone who's grieving, or planning for the end of life. I'm not helping people prepare to die. I'm helping them reclaim how they live. Because when you accept that the time is not promised, every moment becomes sacred. So think about this. If your time was limited, what would you do differently starting today? And what are you waiting for? The truth is, we are all dying. The question is, are we truly living? Let death be your reminder, not your fear. Because when nothing is promised, everything becomes sacred. If this episode resonates with you, share it with a friend and talk about it with your loved ones. May you live in a way that leaves nothing unsaid, nothing unloved, and nothing unlived.